ladies and gentlemen, Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. And today we have something that is going to be very significant that we're going to be talking about. We are talking about why are you unable to manifest any form of love, genuine, authentic love into your life? Why might you be reaching a threshold with this, or a plateau with this, or finding yourself in a cycle where you seem to attracting people that aren't really loving you for who you actually are? If you find yourself in that cycle, that's exactly what it is that we're going to be speaking about in our today's video. And we're going to go into very much depth with understanding this subject so that we can really unpack it in a healthy way. So once again, if you're someone that is struggling with love, being able to attract it into your life, this is the video for you. So I will recommend that you stay tuned, and I will simply see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. So we're talking about struggling with love. Now, this is absolutely something that I have experienced in my life as well. Throughout my life, you know, there's been many times where I've been involved in different types of, you know, social circles and different types of friendships, as well as intimate relationships, where there just seemed to be like there wasn't that true love that was actually there. Sometimes it felt transactional, sometimes it felt very conditional. And that's never a good feeling. So I do have my own personal experience with this type of energy and this type of, you know, manifestation here. Now, with the point that I'm at now in my life, I feel like there's definitely more avenues that I have where there are much more genuine and authentic connections that I have in my life that I've actually never been able to experience before. And I'm very thankful for that, because it has taken, you know, a long time and a lot of work to be able to get to this point. And of course, I'm not perfect as well. You know, it doesn't mean I'm perfect in regards to my relationships. Relationships have always been something that has been a little bit challenging in my life, specifically the more intimate, you know, one-on-one partnership types of relationships. But there's a lot that I have learned over the years, and I have been able to shift a lot of things internally to be able to create a lot more relationships in my life that are much healthier, much more grounded, and are able to just have a sense of unconditional love. And there's a safety that comes with that. Okay, so the first thing that we have to understand when it comes to love is the reality that when you are not loving yourself, you are unable to then manifest someone else in your life that is then going to be able to love you back. So I know it sounds cliche, and I'm going to be explaining this so that it's more understandable and so that it's more practical. But it's literally that simple. If you are not able to unconditionally love yourself, meaning you're loving all of you for wherever the hell it is that you're at, then you are inherently going to not be able to attract love into your life. And that's just a fact. Now, it doesn't mean you need to be perfect with your self-love, because there's no such thing as perfection with this. But if you are really placing conditions on yourself, expectations, and you are not connecting with your authenticity, and you're trying to hide behind a mask that you wear so that you can get love from other people, you are inherently going to be attracting the wrong people that are not going to be able to love you the way that you may want to be loved. And actually, let me change a little bit about what I'm saying. You're not going to attract the wrong people. You're actually going to attract the exact right people to show you that you are not loving yourself. And that's where this principle really comes into play here, is everything is in energetic resonance, and everything around you is a reflection of what is going on inside of you. So let's say, for example, you are unconscious, meaning you are not aware that you are not loving you for who you actually are. What can that look like? Let's say you wake up one day and you're frustrated, you're angry, you're a little bit afraid, and you're sad. Let's say you wake up that morning and then you say, I cannot feel these feelings because when I go to work, people are going to judge me. People are not going to accept me. It's going to be harder to just be raw and vulnerable with what I'm truly feeling. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to pretend that I'm not feeling those emotions, and I'm going to push through the day, get it over with, and then I'm going to come back home, and then maybe I will let myself feel those emotions, or maybe I'll just find another way to kind of press it down and keep it repressed. All right. This is an example of someone that is not loving themselves, but you have to understand a lot of the times this can be quite unconscious to the person, meaning they're not aware that this is what they're actually doing, and they're not aware that this is them not loving themselves. And the thing about this is, the reason why this can be so dangerous is because it's shifting your resonance. Every time you wake up and you say, I'm not going to be authentic to me today, you are in a way abandoning yourself. You are not loving yourself. What does that do to your resonance? It broadcasts a certain frequency that now communicates to the world around you through energetic resonance, saying, I don't love myself. And now I'm in resonance with people that are also resonating in a similar way, that don't love themselves. So now you're in a resonance point to attract people that are going to love you for the wrong reasons, or they're going to love you for the wrong aspects of yourself, and not necessarily be able to love you for your core, because that's exactly what you're doing internally. There's a lot of people that do not know that they are worshiping their false self-identity, and they're trying to obviously do it from a space of trying to be accepted, trying to be loved, and feeling good about themselves. But it's like, it's almost like you have to put on a costume to try to get love from someone, and then they fall in love with that costume, and then, you know, you get to know the person a little bit more, and then the costume comes off, and now the person looks at you and they say, who are you? I don't even know who you are. I loved the costume. I don't know if I love you underneath the costume, right? This is the feeling that a lot of people will get when they are unconsciously not loving themselves, and they are separating themselves from their authenticity to try to get some sort of attention, or to try to get some sort of approval or love or self-acceptance. I know there's a lot of you that are listening to this right now that are resonating with what it is that I'm speaking about. So if you're resonating, drop down and hit the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. Okay. But with that being said, what process is it that we now have to go through in order to start authentically loving ourselves again? Okay. We have to go through a process of realizing, wow, like, I need to start with loving myself first. And I need to start with understanding, what does it mean to love myself? Okay. With everything that, you know, I'm learning from watching this video with Jeremiah, I'm realizing that loving myself can literally be as simple as just being authentic to who and where you are now, and being willing to feel the uncomfortable emotions that might arise or that might come up from just being you. So there's this huge fear that a lot of people have to show themselves vulnerably and to be raw and honest. Why? Because then you might look weak. You might look afraid. You might look like you're not in control. You might look like you're not the person that you've been trying to portray yourself as for so long. These are feelings that are buried underneath the surface that are really deep rooted that need to work their way up to the surface of your psyche, to the surface of your nervous system so that you can process those feelings. You know why? Because all of this is rooted in childhood trauma. The reason why you don't feel like you're able to be you, the reason why you're afraid to be authentic is because at some point in your childhood, you internalized something, some sort of trauma, and you decided you are not good enough. You decided that you're not capable. You're not able to be who you are and be loved and be accepted and be nurtured and be protected. That's where all that you're not something, some sort of trauma, and you decided you are not good enough. You decided that you're not capable. You're not able to be who you are and be loved and be accepted and be nurtured and be protected. That's where all that shit is rooted in. But now the only difference is you're an adult now and you're still not loving yourself. And now you're finding yourself in these cycles where you just keep attracting people that are loving these parts of you that are just parts of you and they're not the whole you. So when you come to the whole you, you start to fall out of resonance with a lot of those people because they're like, hey, I thought you were this person. I didn't actually know you were that person. And is that the other person's fault? Absolutely not. That was the costume. It was the mask that you were wearing as you were subconsciously screaming to them, please love me, love my mask, love my mask. And then when you took it off and you showed yourself, maybe they abandoned you. Maybe they betrayed you. Why is it that they did that? Is it because they're a bad person or is it because they're evil? Not at all. It's because they're reflecting those similar types of wounds from your past trauma and the stuff that you went through at early childhood. Maybe you were abandoned in that way or betrayed in that way when you were just a little kid. And now this person is reflecting those core wounds back to you because those core wounds have been in your system the entire time and you were unconscious of it. Those core wounds of shame, abandonment, betrayal, fear, and grief, these have been ruminating inside of your system and you didn't even know it. They were actually driving the whole reason why you feel like you can't be you. So then a lot of people get stuck and they try to blame the person. It's that person's fault. They're a bad person. They're a mean person. You know, they're evil. You know, they never loved me for me. Really, you created that experience. You are just as much responsible for that re-traumatizing experience because you are the creator of your reality. And I don't say that in a woo-woo cliche type of way. I really mean that. You are creating your life experience based on your ability to face yourself, commit to yourself, and love yourself, and then what your energetic resonance projects from that point. So the other person, guess what? They're wounded too. The only difference is if they abandon you and betray you because they don't see your, or because they can't accept your authentic self, all that communicates is that they're not ready to let go of their costume. They're not ready to let go of their mask, which means in their contract relationship with you, they thought they were going to wear a mask and you were going to wear a mask and you would find some sort of middle ground. Whereas when you start to do inner work and you're starting to realize that you're not actually happy with the life that you're living and it doesn't feel good because you're not being authentic, you take that mask off, and if someone's in your life that's not ready to do that too, they're going to leave. They're no longer in resonance with you. They're like, I did not sign up for that. I'm not ready to go through that. I'm not ready to go through that yet. I still need to have my unhealthy coping mechanisms. I still need to wear this mask because if I take that shit off, who Lord knows what's going to happen. And that's okay. Let the person go. Be thankful that you actually manifested them into your life to show you that lesson, to show you that deeper truth of what was buried in your system. Because of course, when someone abandons you or betrays you, when you were showing yourself, that's painful and that hurts. But that person also just created a catalyst to show you that, one, that's not the right person for you. And two, you have abandonment, betrayal, and self-shame in your own system that is much deeper rooted. That's why it manifested in that cycle. That's how powerful these trauma cycles can manifest themselves in our everyday lives. And like, once again, imagine you don't even know that. Imagine you're unconscious to this whole process and you just keep remanifesting these traumatizing experiences over and over again that are subtly reflecting your past. It can drive someone insane. It makes sense why there is so much mental health issues in our today's time, because of just the nature of, society, the nature of how we operate, the nature of lack of proper education to understand these things. But when you start to educate yourself and see it for what it is, it helps you. It's like, wow, like I actually get that. It's not that crazy. Like, I'm not depressed forever. My nervous system's just giving me an intelligent response right now, giving me this feeling, giving me this emotion, because it's showing me something that I need to see deeper down. It's not like a diagnosis that it means I'm permanently stuck with. I'll make a whole new video on that subject, by the way. But long story short, you have to start with the process of loving yourself for real, okay? You cannot expect love to manifest into your life by any means if you do not have that relationship with yourself first. What does that relationship look like? It looks like time, patience, energy that you are now committing to being all of you. When you don't feel good one day, when you feel tired one day, when you feel a little bit angry or feel a little bit sad or feel heavy that day, you don't wake up and say, I gotta step out of these feelings to get my life done, or I gotta step out of these feelings to be accepted in the world. You say, I bring these feelings. I bring my authentic self to wherever the hell it is that I'm going today, and I'm going to be raw, honest, primal, and vulnerable with my process. That is how you start building a relationship with yourself for the first time. You are showing these wounded parts of you in your system that they are accepted and that they are loved, even when they're not feeling okay. Every time you have to wear that mask and step out of that because you don't feel comfortable with it, you're abandoning parts of you, which means you're abandoning yourself. What's that going to put you in energetic resonance for? To be abandoned. Is that something you want? No. Say it with me. I don't want to be abandoned. Okay? So with that being said, this is what it is that we really need to understand and what we need to know, and you have to nurture that process. You have to give yourself time, patience, consistency, and self-commitment. This is not something that is just going to change. It's not something that's just going to resolve within 10 days, within 20 days, within a month. This is something that you can expect to have to commit to for at least 6 months before you start to notice some pretty significant changes. Now, you're definitely going to notice changes before them, but if we're talking about significant changes where you're now attracting completely new relationships into your life, you're actually starting to really feel what it means to love you and to be real with you. You're potentially shifting your entire reality at this point, meaning there's like new opportunities that are presenting themselves. There's new things that you're starting to get yourself involved in. This stuff takes time. So give yourself that time and don't approach it from the lens of, oh, I'm doing this work that I don't want to do just because I got to fix it or I got to change it, because that's not the authentic approach. You commit to yourself because you deserve it, because those wounded parts of you need your love and they need your acceptance for right where you are now. You don't see a little kid that's crying on the corner that needs some sort of support, and you don't go up to them and say, hey, I'm only supporting you because you're going to stop crying one day. No, you stay with them. You let them know that everything's going to be okay and that you're with them, and you let them have their expression until they start to feel better. That's how you actually can love something unconditionally. So let's take that same concept and let's apply it to ourselves now, because that's the truth. Then you break through those cycles of abandonment and betrayal and attracting people that only love you for your false self. You can start to be seen and you can start to be heard for who you actually are. And that is something that I think all of us are truly longing for as human beings. That's why I'm making this video today, because this is going to help people wake up a little bit more to realize, oh my gosh, if I've been in that cycle, this is probably why I've been in it. All right. So now you have a little bit of a key to move forward with that. And obviously, if you need support through this process, I would highly encourage you to book a mentorship with me. That is something that you can book in the second link below. Okay. With that being said, we're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this video or got value from it, thumbs up the video. Drop down into the comment section. Let me know if you're resonating with what I'm speaking about. Let me know if you're someone that is ready to commit to that process of self-love and start to see things transform in your life slowly but surely. I would love to hear that. Hit the notification bell and get notified whenever I post, because I'm posting literally every single day. So take advantage of that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because by subscribing, you're further connecting to everything it is that I'm teaching. I would also encourage you to copy and paste this link and send it to someone that you feel like needs to hear this message. Also, make sure you check out my Patreon. I have an entire vault of exclusive content on my Patreon, tons of valuable stuff, all the way from a magic training course for people that are getting into the occult and are looking for a pathway to start that, all the way from collection sections that educate you on deeper trauma education, nervous system regulation, and working with your unconscious mind in the shadow. Very valuable stuff over there. I encourage you to check that out. Tier 3 and 4 gives you access to something super unique. It's called the Universe B Ritual Service. It's a ritual, the only ritual that I ever perform for my collective consciousness. I don't do services for people where I do rituals for people, because I don't want to get involved with people's bullshit. I don't care about getting your ex back. I don't care about, helping you make more money through a spell. I want to teach you the mechanics and the foundation of how you can do that for yourself. That's my ritual service. I offer it on the 29th of every single month, and it's a very powerful service. It helps to support processing stuff that is repressed in the shadow so that you can start merging with your shadow self, and it can become an ally for you rather than an adversary. So with that being said, if you're interested, all of that's in the first link below. Now in the second link, this is once again where you can book one-on-one calls with me or the mentorships. Definitely consider it. All right. In the same second link, you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia. She's a very gifted tarot card reader. Third link is a Lucifer's Foundation course. This course gives you everything you need to know to develop a healthy relationship with the energy that is known as Lucifer. Fourth link is my YouTube memberships. This is where you join into the Universal Mastery family. And I would be more than honored to have you a part of this family. And then my fifth link is going to be the book recommendations. So these are all the different book recommendations that I have for you, for those of you that are getting into the occult practices and studies. All right. So with that being said, this is where we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of you very, very much. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.